Flashbacks. Past players, past legends.
Yeah, losing Everett as we said.
Lost Everett, and we lost Lazar Vidovic, who was an excellent
that's
workhorse. Right. They were a good tandem ruck there, and Spider was resting forward as well. So, yeah, it put a lot on Brett Cook, who was our third sort of string
Broken
ruck,
Hill boy,
who did a great job in the prelim. Corey McKernan went down and did his shoulder from memory.
That's right.
So he was able to play a role that night. But yeah, just couldn't quite get it done against a pretty handy player in Sean Wren.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't exactly against an average player in the final.
Yeah. So what? Obviously, St Kilda have been starved for success, and we know that. What was it like grand final week around St Kilda? Because everybody was clearly buzzing at the time, and you guys were favourites really at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, incredible atmosphere around Moorabbin. It's very much a suburban local football club, no different to what we have over here. So you got thousands of people at training. Stan Alves had obviously had experience in his own football career at North playing finals, and I thought we went into the game cherry ripe. It was a very disruptive week. Obviously, Nicky Winmar's father passed away
the day before.
Stewie Lowe had some serious family issues, and I remember late in the week it did become quite interrupted. But we did the parade, did all that. We went into the game quite confident. We were still very confident. About 5 minutes to go in that second quarter, and but I just thought we missed a couple of opportunities, and we instead of being 2 goal up, we probably should have been 4 goals up. And,
that's fair.
And then, they wore us down. They obviously got a huge amount of rebound off half back through McLeod, and
McLeod went on the ball, and Johnson, and Goodwin was very good as well.
And then Jarman just bobs up.
Yeah.
Jars was amazing. Didn't get the match up early enough there, and they come over the top. When you look back on it, it's a hugely talented football side. So at the time, there was a lot of them guys who were in their first sort of 10, 20, 30 games of football. But when you look back on it now, a huge amount of talent, Hall of Fames across every line. So, and the same with St Kilda. It was 2 very talented football sides. But
did you feel it out on the ground that it was gradually slipping away? I know.
Probably in that definitely third quarter, late in that third quarter.
Yeah,
you sense that it was slipping away. We didn't get that match up for Jarman, but I also thought we just weren't generating enough ball deep enough. Wren sat behind the ball so well, like he always did.
Yeah,
and and that's life. We missed our opportunity.
You were mainly on Matty. You were mainly on Matty Robran, weren't you?
Yeah. I played Matty Robran centre half back, so I was okay. I played an okay stopping role, but certainly as far as intercept marking and getting more of the ball myself, I certainly could have contributed more. But we missed our opportunity, sadly. It was a really talented squad that, we probably could have pinched one through that 2, 3, 4 year period.
Yeah, because 98 you were around the mark again.
Mm.
Yeah. So
we go. We probably go mid-year. 10-2. We're probably sitting first or second, and then we just petered out as the year went on.
Yeah.
And I think you just sense as the year went on, Stan was probably feeling the pressure a little bit. There was a fair bit of pressure. Just reflecting back on it and speaking to old teammates, there was probably a bit more going on behind the scenes with Stan and the assistant coaches. we really knew about.
Yeah.
Stan was brilliant for my career. He was brilliant for our club at that time. He gave us real focus, real consistency, real structure with our game plan. He was a great motivator, but certainly he felt the pressure, which can come from, in a club that's been, which has had a real lack of success over a long time. Which is, I'm rapt seeing them in the position they are now. They're a strong club. I've spent some time down there over the last 12 months with my lad as a father-son.
Okay, is that in the pot? Is that a potential there? Because
no, I don't want to put pressure on him or anyone, but
let Dylan go.
Certainly, like Port Adelaide, they've given him the opportunity to come down and be a part of it and experience what it's like and see the facilities and getting an understanding of what's required in a program like that. So
it's a bit unique, Port Adelaide. Wakes, it's a bit unique, Port Adelaide this year that it's almost a few of the kids competing to be the father-son selection. There's a few, Montgomery, Rome Burgoyne and your Colt and Dylan. So that it's actually a bit ironic that Port have probably got a couple of tough decisions to make. So,
Well, Louis Montgomery.
Yeah.
Obviously, draft you this year. Rome Burgoyne draft you. My lad's.
Your lad the year after. Okay.
Still a 16-year-old. Yeah. So he's got a bit of time. But it's great. It's just good that the AFL clubs give these kids an opportunity to get a bit of a taste of it these days. And
it doesn't hurt qualifying for 2 clubs, Wakes. So.
Who knows? Who knows what will happen? Both clubs have been brilliant for me.
That's good. That's good.
And my journey.
No, I do rate young Dylan. Did commentate him on the weekend. I think he's a genuine chance, and see how he goes. He's a good kid. Comes from good stock. We'll probably leave Dylan enough pressure there, do rate him.
Question is, what if he gets drafted by Adelaide? How are you going to feel about that?
Just get on with it. It's a place on an AFL list.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Place on an AFL list. I reckon that's the way your Colt would look at it, mate. So
that's right. Any opportunity, who knows? Yeah.
And so 98, and then eventually coming back to Port. Darryl, how did that all eventuate there?
So 98 finished off that year. I fractured my skull and. I was actually reported in the same game late in the season, so I missed the first final. We had a double chance, but we got knocked out by Melbourne in the final at the G. So we're going to the 99 set. We'll end of 98. Obviously, they make the decision to get rid of Stan. So we go into 99. Tim Watson gets appointed, and I really enjoyed Tim. Alistair Clarkson arrived. Kevin Morris was an assistant. Andy Collins was an assistant. So it was a real change through that period. We probably bought some players into the club who were sort of second chance, certainly talented players like Tony Francis, Monkhurst, Sean Charles. A number of these players who were sort of recycled players, Tony Delaney, recycled players, but we moved out some quality young kids through that period. Joel Smith, Matty Lappin, Tony Brown delisted.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
It was. We need, and sort of looking back on it, we just didn't have that. I suppose Tim just lacked that overall program to be able to nurture them young kids. Them kids were still 21 years of age.
Yeah.
Joel, when you look at it, it's or 22 years of age.
Tony Francis
still learning their craft.
Tony Francis speaks glowingly of Tim Watson.
Yeah, no, they had some sort of relationship, and I know that Tim went strongly after him, and he played some good footy for us.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a real introvert, real shy guy.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
But it certainly changed the whole makeup of that group. We'd been extremely close since 95 right through to 98. And it totally changed that group over that 12-month to 18-month period. Mind you, in saying that, the first year I think we were sitting 10-1, 10-2. We had probably 6 or 7 guys in the All-Australian squad, in the first cut. So we were all playing pretty good footy. I was playing some good footy, all our mids, all the usual suspects, Lowe, Harvey, Winmar.
Yep.
But yeah, as the year went on, we just lacked a bit of, we're getting done from behind. There was a record game by Hawthorn, come from 10 goal behind. We just lost a little bit of belief, and probably as you do, you lose a little bit of belief in your game plan, and then that sort of filters through to a lack of belief in the overall program. Players are very, you know what players are like.
Yeah.
They can sense stuff. They know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got good radars. And
when a club starts,
as groups,
any club, something just little starts to unravel a bit. Geez, it gets around pretty quick amongst the playing group.
Guys start looking over their shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's all self-sacrifice stuff, and you need some really strong senior leaders or leaders across the board.
Yeah.
I was made vice captain that year. I was 22, 23, and I must say I lost a bit of belief in my own ability. And you have as much confidence sometimes as those that believe in you. And I just felt that, maybe the belief wasn't quite there as we were getting deep into the season. Just some question marks over players that we knew they would cut it, but they just got questioned in ways that started eating away at the team.
And so then coming back to Port, how did that eventuate?
Yeah,
from there.
Did you know that was going to happen, or was that something that?
So I had a year to go. My contract end of 2000, so 2000 season. We had 3.5 wins that year. Port initially reached out to Shane because he was out of contract. Shane had been offered a 3-year deal by St Kilda, but he'd missed most of the season with an Achilles injury.
Right.
He wanted guaranteed money. They said, no, we're not doing it. And then he got the medical assessment done by Port Adelaide, and great mate of mine, Dr. Mark Fisher, said, no, we can't. I can't support the medical. So then they asked me, even though I was contracted, had a year to go. They said, what are you doing? Would you like to come back? And Shane then got the opportunity, got picked up by
Collingwood.
Yeah. Played another 8 years. And they offered me a 3-year guaranteed money deal, great up-and-coming group of young players at Port. And I sensed that the club wanted to make the most of it and get a good trade in to pick up another experienced player, which they did in Aaron Hamill. So, it's a bit scary looking back on it. It was a big punt by Port Adelaide to trade out a number 4 draft pick to St Kilda for me. So they had a huge belief in me, and I come back across. The final straw, and I've shared this with Blighty in the back of the commentary box at times, but they'd done the big sales job to go up to Cairns to recruit Blighty with a big check. And they had Max Hudson, Barry Hall, Lowy, Harves, Berkey, I think it was, and I was vice captain at the side. And I said, well, do you want me to go on the trip? And they said no, because they'd already been obviously having trade talks. And I said, well, give me Blighty's number. I know I've heard he's committing to the job. Give me Blighty's number and I'll have a chat to him. And they said, no, he's not taking any calls. And I said, that's fine. Thank you for that. That's my that was my last sort of box I had to tick. So then I committed to Port Adelaide.
I hate it when clubs bullshit. So,
but it was, it was a great thing for me.
Definitely.
It was. I could not have come back to Port Adelaide at a better time. Under such a better group of people. Mark Williams, a great mate of mine. David Hutton in welfare. Bobby Clayton, Bucky Cunningham. the whole board were obviously Port Adelaide through and through, who I knew from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So go through, obviously, getting back to Port Adelaide, Williams as coach and, the sponsorship deal with Scott's and maybe wanting him to move on. And you really had a mission to make 2007 your year.
2004.
Sorry, 2004. Sorry.
We won't talk about 2007.
No, we'll talk about that later. You wanted to make 2004 your own.
Once again, young group coming up. You need to take the opportunity. And, in the first couple of years, we didn't take that opportunity. We'd built a huge amount of talent across the squad. We'd brought in talent, Hardwick, Pecker, Josh Marnie. We all of a sudden, after 3 or 4 years, we had coming into that 04 season, we were winning a huge amount of games. We had lots of players around that 100 game to 200 game mark. And that was the year, and we had to do it.
So Roger James has still got a hell of a lot to answer for. I call Roger Lord Voldemort because I blame him for Port winning the flag, mate. So it's a standard joke, Rog. As you know, Roger's one of the great blokes, and I give Roger.
The Norwood boys.
So Roger's actually got me in his phone as Lord Voldemort from me calling him Lord Voldemort. So it's a bit of a standard joke between us. And as you know, he was unbelievable in that final series. And to have 7 of any club's first 10 touches, that's Brereton, Bartlett, the Dominator sort of stuff, where he's never really probably got recognised enough for how good his final series was. He was incredible.
Incredible.
Not just the prelim. Yeah.
He'd had some sort of ongoing knee issues.
Yeah.
It sort of caught up with him in 2005. But incredible user of the football, as tough as they come.
Yeah.
And some of the rules back then where you could take possession of the footy, hold it in, do another, have another ball up.
Yeah.
That suited him. He just had that style of taking hard ball, getting the contested possession at stoppage, getting through traffic, and then elite use of football to Fred Ray or Lade or whoever up forward. So, really probably pulled up his career 2 or 3 years too early due to that knee.
Yeah.
I know he went back and played a bit of country footy, but to have to train and perform at AFL level, he wasn't able to quite do that. So sadly, would have been great to see him play for another 2 or 3 seasons. And I think if we were about to have him fully fit and Josh Carr stay, we might have given it another shake the next couple of years. But we certainly, lacking a bit of depth through that midfield. You just can't compete, can you?
But what an experience playing in Port's first flag.
It's incredible.
Huge.
It really is. I speak about my 2 bookends, 94 and 2004.
Yep.
At the club I barracked for as a kid, I was part of their zone on the Eyre Peninsula. I just can't. When you look back on it, you just look on it so fondly, all through the journey, through the junior pathway, and to finish off in 04, coming back to the club, having done my apprenticeship at St Kilda. I always thought, there was always a thought I'd come back, but I never really believed it because I enjoyed Melbourne life so much. But it just felt right when I finally come back, and fortunate enough to play in one. And played another 3 years after that. But very special time for the whole family, really. And that whole group, as you are as a premiership team, you're very, very close, very much like family. And we're fortunate enough to be inducted into the Port Adelaide Hall of Fame back a month or so ago, and Chock was there, and he was like a proud father with his children. And so probably it's amazing. The group just continues to get closer and closer as we have our catch-ups, and we obviously got our 20-year anniversary this year. that's going to be a special get-together towards the end of the year.
Now, you talked obviously playing in the St Kilda grand final back in 97, and you sort of mentioned that you sort of got a bit of a feeling that things were slipping away. Port Adelaide's first premiership in 2004. When did you sort of feel like things were turning you away against the Lions, who were red hot for 3 years previously?
Yeah, we knew that. I thought they'd outmuscled us a little bit through certain parts of the ground. We'd had a really good run in minor round games and pre-season games. We beat them in a pre-season grand final, and and quite convincingly. They had some genuine tough big game players. We didn't come up to the level in the big games, and we knew we needed to take that opportunity. We thought we had a bit better run than them through the midfield. We were going to run them off their feet. We had some guys banged up. I know they did too. Not enough gets spoken of Primus and Franco.
Yeah,
Franco third in a Brownlow
Yeah.
2 years. Primus All-Australian Ruckman 3 years in a row. They go and change the ruck rule.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
him,
I was about to say.
They thought that he could, if he was playing now, he'd win another 3 All-Australians.
Yeah.
So they've changed the ruck rule back. But, teams talk about having players banged up or so-and-so was out with injury or we had Lappin injured or whatever, but we had 2 genuine superstars sitting in the coach's box. So not enough gets spoken about that, and that happened for 2 of the 3 years that we were making a run for the finals. And we had some crucial injuries.
Yeah.
And we just didn't get that momentum. But 2000, crazily enough, 2004, we actually did get some momentum in the back end of that year. And we had a lot of our midfield up and running, and we got the momentum at the right time to really push.
And Kane Corns did a fantastic job on Black too. I
He
thought
shut him down, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was
Incredible game.
He was personally my pick for the Norm Smith in that. I thought he was incredible. And you just all did your role then, and
That's right.
Well,
Everyone's played the role. It's even Hardwick, he was losing his legs that year.
Yeah.
But once again, the coaching staff, he was a role player. He would come in for 5-6 minutes on ball, absolute battering ram, stir a few up.
Yeah, he sucked people in. Jeez, he was good at that. Yeah.
And then you had, Pickett was left to roam, and Peter Burgoyne played one of his best finals. And that midfield really was the difference for us. We stood up strong down back. We got some great rebound from Shawnee Burgoyne and Matt Bishop, and we had a real spread of goal kickers up front, obviously led by Brendan Lade and Toby Thurston's up front, and obviously the mercurial Gavin Wakelin.
Yeah. Let's think he had done very little.
Well, he got you
out of but he got you out of the Lemonade and SARS in that prelim final, and him and Sean Burgoyne with the smother from the other Port St Kilda player,
Brent
Guerra, So
and I think it's well publicised. Gav hadn't had a kick in a month, and it's a tough position too up forward, dead man's pocket. He'd play a bit of half forward, and coming off almost winning the Brownlow in 03 off half back and back pocket. So it was a change of role, and he was getting on in years as well. He was 32 by that stage, I reckon, 31. So a few Ks under the legs. But just incredible that, just guys like that can just pop up in such massive moments.
Well, I mean, in true Port Adelaide tradition, you got the most out of all of your players, and everyone played their role in that grand final, and it certainly showed.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're going to celebrate it this year with some gusto, that's for sure.
A person I've got a lot of respect for his footy now, St David Pittman. Pitto was an assistant coach in that. Did you have that much to do with Pitto, just out of interest?
I don't have a lot. He was there though, along with all the
I just wondered.
surviving assistants at the Hall of Fame. So I know he loved his time through that period, and he was very influential on that midfield group and that ruck group.
Yeah.
We had a number of ruckmen going. Obviously, Matty went down injured at the start of the year. Still very influential.
Yes.
And then you had Lady and Brogan. Were very, we had an amazing depth with our ruck stocks through that period.
Yeah,
on
you
top
did, didn't
of
you?
having Barnaby French, who went to Carlton.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Kane Ackland played a role, and so we had a lot of guys going through there, and genuine, top end AFL players.
And you said, so I think you're, as you called it, with Rog getting injured really hurt the chances of the next couple of years and that. And look, 07, for as much as we'll muck around for the grand final being a cliffhanger at the opening bounce, you got through with a pretty young group there, and you were playing one of the greatest teams in history. And you can argue on paper, with how many All-Australians they had there that year and all that. Make a claim
as it'll show.
Yeah,
as it'll show that Hall of Famers who, they finally believed in their ability, and we'd had a very good run coming into finals. We've ended up, we've ended up going. I think we finished top 4 that year.
Yeah,
beat West Coast after Cousins. Cousins went down in the last quarter or third quarter.
Yeah.
And then we rolled over the top of them to win that first final to go into the prelim against North.
And
we smacked North in that prelim.
Yeah.
Bit of a soft run in.
Yeah.
We'd had a few guys a bit underdone and a few little injuries coming into that series. But we were in pretty good shape. We just lacked experience. Yeah.
I reckon the soft prelim final probably didn't help in the end.
Yeah, looking back on it, probably not. I thought, we still had 12 or 13 premiership players from 04. That's why I look at these sides anytime. Like even Port coming up against Richmond on the weekend, I think they had 12 or 13 premiership players, and I think you can never underestimate it.
Yeah.
But you still need, it's the next 7, 8 players who may only have, I think we had 6 or 7 players with less than 20 games.
Yeah.
So it was a real transition period for us through that period. And I remember one moment in the game, and that's all. I don't really remember it. Yeah. I'd been brought back in for the prelim after doing a groin down in Geelong in round 22 or 23.
And Cassisi kicked the goal. Yep.
That's it. I think I'd only played, the Geelong game was my first game in about 8 weeks. And then, the prelim was my second, so I hadn't played a lot of footy and certainly felt that way on grand final day.
And that was it, wasn't it? That
was it. Yeah.
Did you play any footy at all after that?
I played a couple of country games. I went back to Kimber, played a few games. Port Lincoln, I played a couple games back there. But you soon realise you've still got to be fit. You've still got to cover the ground to enjoy yourself and have get a kick. So, but that was good. It was good to go back and get back to your roots and see a lot of them people who were my mentors and great supporters coming through juniors, and really to get back there, celebrate it with my family and my parents. That's the most special thing. So it was a nice sort of full stop to my active playing career.
Did Port Adelaide Magpies approach you to maybe have a year back at the Magpies?
I think they may have. Yeah, they may have at the end of that year, and I was just done. I wanted to get into my pharmacy career, and see where that went. I had some coaching opportunities. I was asked to go on the board at Port Adelaide, which I did through a pretty tumultuous period. But so that was was an amazing experience, and So but when you've been on a board in I think any board, especially a football AFL board, you can certainly fall out of love with your football club.
Yeah, I
quite
agree
quickly.
with that.
And
Yeah.
I got to the end of that, and I just needed some time away, and which was good.
Now, Darryl, you've been in the pharmacy game now for bloody long, and very well respected in the pharmacy game too, I may add. And that father-in-law used to have another shop close to you down there, the late John Bertram. You and I have spoken a couple of times on that.
Yes.
And the shop's there. There's still there. It's a dentistry now place down there.
How did you get into it?
Yeah, with pharmacy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just come out of school, really. I enjoyed chem and physics and whatnot at school, so I thought it'd be a pretty good job. I certainly weren't punting on a AFL career at that stage.
Yeah.
So, it was, okay, if I get into that, there'll be plenty of jobs around. I can travel overseas and get a job in the UK. I can work in hospital. I can own my own business. What are you really thinking as a 17, 18-year-old? But that's sort of what I remember I was thinking. So one thing led to another. Ended up getting in some ownership with a group who had pharmacies in the western suburbs late in my career, and it just sort of all went from there. Yeah, so I still own the pharmacy.
Yep.
Yeah, down there at Alberton, and we're at Arndale Shopping Centre and a few other spots around Adelaide, mainly in the west and the north. And it's been a good career. It's certainly been, it's like any small, medium business. It's, it has its challenges, and the government certainly, keeps you on your toes, and you need to keep evolving.
Yeah,
but,
you and Noel Allen, another one in the pharmacy game. Yeah.
I met with Noel only 2 weeks ago. Had a coffee, had a great catch up, and
the old small Adelaide again, mate.
He's now he's just officially exiting from the pharmacy game in the next couple of months. So it's been an amazing journey for him. He's been a great successful businessman here in Adelaide.
Did you say you were still studying while you were playing in your early career for obviously pharmacy?
I did part-time study for 8 years, and then I did an internship over 2 years, a year and a half at West Lakes and Alberton pharmacies, who had the same owners.
Yeah.
So Tuesday was our day off. I would go and work in the pharmacy. I'd do a couple nights, and then I graduated in 2004. So talk about a good year. And then I'd sort of would do a bit of part-time work in the off season and whatever else, and then got into ownership. Yeah. So no, it's been a good journey. It's been a great journey. I'm not sure how much I got left in me in the pharmacy game, but it's a good industry. But the government certainly wears you down after a while. So
as Dylan
this year,
have you managed to impart on Dylan the same life balance sort of decisions and that, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Good.
we talk to him all the time. You just don't know you don't know what's going to go on with your body. Love it, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Love being around your mates. Love, be grateful for being at a club like Sturt, who have a great junior program. He's been very fortunate under Dave Odie to be coached under Dave, and who's now moved to PAC, and he really enjoys Dave's approach to coaching, and simplifying the game, breaking the game down, and he loves his approach. So that's he's been very fortunate to have a junior coach like him, and so trying to encourage him to enjoy his school and to work as hard as he can to so he have that balance. Yeah. So and he has.
All right, Wakes, we'll let you out on this one. Your best top three players played with and against.
So with best player R. Harvey.
Yeah.
Second, Fred Ray.
Yep.
Third, Wanganeen.
Yep.
Yeah, there'll be a few apologies there.
Yeah,
Primus.
that's okay.
Don't worry, as a Nord
few others.
supporter, I have nightmares. Greg Phillips, he's the one.
Yeah, and probably Timmy Geneva in there as far as my
Leadership.
favourite leader, best leader I've played with, and Primus. Best played against, David Neitz was always a handful. Power, strength, dead arrow kick. Wayne Carey, right next to that. Big engine, big body, playing in a superstar team with great rebounders off halfback. So you're always a bit nervous playing on him with Pagan's paddock at Waverley Park back in the 90s. A lot of space to move around in the big fella. And probably Treadray before I went back. I'll tell you what, that was a relief when I came back to Port that I wouldn't have to play on him the next sort of 7-8 years. But he was a genuine.
He was a superstar,
up and coming star in his first 2 seasons. I'd play a little bit on him. Yeah.
Oh, looking, if he was in Victoria, he'd be spoken about, like Pavlich over in WA, he'd be spoken to the nth degree. And don't worry, as a Nord supporter, we wore black armbands when Matty got with his then girlfriend, now wife, because, geez, the amount of quality he used to bring back to the parade before then, it varied by the week. It was a shattering moment when he actually got serious, geez.
Yeah, I did hear about his pre-Mal form, but he was sadly missed from the eastern suburbs, I believe.
Oh, yes. We could discuss that off air at some stage, but yes.
Darryl, it's been an absolute pleasure having you and reminiscing, obviously, about your career and talking about pharmacy work and your family and kids. And, mate, thoroughly enjoyed watching you play and, wish you all the best for what's coming up in the future.
And definitely catch up with you at some time in the next few weeks too, Wakes.
Good on you, Mal. Thanks, Pete. Really appreciate the opportunity. You take care.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Right, bye.
Liking this podcast? Please like, rate, and subscribe.